On today's episode of PDubs Arcade Loft, we're going to take a look at the brand new Tiny Arcade Tabletop Edition cocktail tables for Galaga, Space Invaders, and Pac-Man. Okay guys, we're back, and if you're not familiar with Tiny Arcades, they're kind of known for making these itty-bitty little keychain arcade machine replicas. You can find these at a whole bunch of retailers out there. They're usually pretty cheap, 20 bucks or less. Wonderfully recreated cabinet designs, but obviously performance on those has been a thing of question in the past. Now they're coming out with these cocktail tables. We're going to take a look at them and see, have things improved, and are these worth 20 bucks as a little decorative item in your arcade and gaming room? Now, whenever you buy something for 20 bucks or less, you got to kind of walk into that purchase knowing that you're going to get what you're paying for, especially when it comes to a video game or arcade gaming product. Sure enough, I do like the way these look aesthetically from a design point of view. These actually are very, very adorable, and they look really cool. Nice little cheap plastic replicas of what an original cocktail table might have looked like. However, instead of having these like with vertical screens with the controls on the end, instead they got the speakers on the end. They got all the controls here on the front, and all three units that I picked up all have the same exact setup like this. Again, from a design perspective, they look fine. Now, these do come with batteries included. They throw some cheap batteries in there, but this particular Galaga unit, my batteries were dead, so I had to go ahead and I had to swap these out. But it's actually good for the video. You guys will see this thing just takes 3 AAA batteries. Put some new ones in there, got this thing fired up. These things only weigh about 5 ounces. Product dimensions are 4 by 3 by 2 inches, so definitely very small stuff to put on a shelf or on your desk. And of course, these things just have a 1-inch tiny screen. Now, these tiny arcade tabletops are based on cocktail table style arcades that invaded restaurants and bars back in the 1980s. They do feature complete, full-color, high-res screen, arcade game sounds, joystick, 2-directional buttons, and a sleek horizontal orientation. Although what's funny is a lot of these games should have had a more vertical orientation, which is kind of funny. But as you can see, the battery swap is nice and simple. We go ahead and get this bad boy fired up. Trying to capture the gameplay on these itty-bitty tiny half-inch screens is going to be kind of ridiculous. You'll notice here, though, that we're not having any issues with the recording of the video. That's the actual game itself. Everything is, like, super sped up. Can't really tell. I mean, I think it might be the original arcade ROM, but it's been, like, modified. Or if it... But then again, it might not be the original arcade ROM. Who knows? But it's definitely not playing the way the original arcade ROM should. And if they... I mean, look at how these characters zoom in. Look at how fast it's going. It's like it's on super speed-up mode, which is absolutely insane. So it's definitely not playing the way it should. So yeah, in my opinion, if you're going to buy these, they look cute, they look adorable, probably will look fine sitting on your shelf in your game room or on your desk or on a table. But definitely you don't want to actually play with these. Galaga is super sped up, and Pac-Man is running super, super slow. It's as if whatever little hardware is trying to run this little arcade ROM just can't handle it. But then again, you walk it in knowing that you're getting what you're paying for. But I'm actually shocked. I mean, look at the way this thing is dragging. That is not the recording, guys. That is actually how this thing is playing. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, you got to know what you're walking into. I mean, they could have at least given... I mean, it's Pac-Man. You got to get Pac-Man up and running correctly at least, right? And they couldn't do it on this particular unit. Out of the 3 that I picked up, Space Invaders, in my personal opinion, is the best looking one. Absolutely love the top of the table here, where it has, unfortunately, it's super hard to focus because everything is so tiny. Has all the pictures of all the aliens, as well as how many points you get for destroying them, all the invader ships, etc. This particular one is my favorite from a design point of view. But just like Galaga, Space Invaders suffers from everything is super sped up. It looks like the color version of the arcade ROM, but everything is moving way faster than it normally should if you've played Space Invaders before. The little sound on all 3 units, which I really didn't comment on, the sound is fine. You can't expect much bang coming out of units like these, but the actual performance of the games, I mean, they claim on the box, on the advertisements, on the retail listings online, that these units feature complete, authentic gameplay. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing that, guys. So, in my personal opinion, would I recommend these products for you? I mean, if you're a fan of the Tiny Arcades brand and you collected all their little keychain arcades and you use them as decoration or whatnot, I guess that these would be fine for that purpose. Definitely not something you're probably ever going to play. You're probably just going to stick it on a shelf somewhere and just use it as a conversation piece or stare at it every once in a while. I'll have Amazon links if you're interested in picking these up in the video description below. Again, only recommend if you want to use these as some sort of decoration in your arcade or gaming room. Otherwise, I would take a hard pass on these. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me your comments and feedback below. Hopefully you enjoyed the quick review. Give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, guys, thank you for subscribing.